Well, I'm certainly much more optimistic about the Obama administration than I was about the previous one. But I think, particularly on the international front, there isn't the recognition that something quite substantial has to be done to keep the global economy together.
You've made no secrets of your views regarding a solution specifically for the banks, the bad bank, to mop up toxic assets. It looks very much like this is the way that Obama has to go now. Once that is implemented, is not the problem that we can't really go back?
That's the problem, that once you commit to one course, it's very bad if you have to shift. Now, you see, I think you would now need a good bank, bad bank solution. But I would do it differently than what is proposed, because the proposal is to segregate the bad assets and put it in the bad bank. And I would keep the capital of the banks together with the bad assets in a bad bank, and then create a new bank with the good assets of the bank and recapitalize that, giving the shareholders the right to put in more money, and if the rights are not exercised, then the government could put in the additional money.
But are you saying, though, this is no longer an option once they go down the bad bank route and commit themselves to that bad bank?
It will be more difficult. I think if in the end, probably come around to it, because without it, the banks will not lend, because they know that there's a lot of deterioration still coming, and so they have to preserve the equity to the greatest possible extent, unless they are somehow obliged by government diktat to lend, in which case it's a messier solution of government interference than if the government actually put in the money and let the banks make the decisions.
Shouldn't the banks, the heads of the banks, be here in Davos? After all, are they not part of a solution?
Well, they could be here, but they probably got other things to do, and they've got probably plenty of headaches to deal with. And they probably don't want to be seen, jetting and.
How hopeful are you of fruitful discussion here in Davos? After all, we've talked of the key players in the US administration. They're not here, and the banks aren't here.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, problems are never solved at Davos. They may be discussed, but they're never solved here.
Let's talk a little bit about the bigger picture. You've often spoken about market fundamentalism, that we have too much faith in market fundamentalism. I guess this latest series of events has proven that to you.
Well, I think rather conclusively, the generally prevailing interpretation of how markets work, the so-called efficient market hypothesis, has been shown to not to be valid by the fact that the system actually literally broke down. So there's something, I mean, the salient fact